Nobody told you this, but the version of you walking into rooms right now is already forming a reputation you can't see. People are reading you. Every hesitation, every fake laugh, every time you shrink to avoid conflict. And the worst part? You think it's working. Here's what nobody says out loud. Most men spend their early 20s performing confidence they don't have, chasing approval from people they don't even respect, and calling it just being social. You're not being social, you're auditioning. Every conversation becomes a test, every group becomes a court, and somewhere in your chest, you already know this. You've felt the exhaustion of trying to be likable in a room where nobody actually sees you. That's not a personality flaw. That's what happens when a man never learns the most important skill of his life, the ability to be a closed door. Most people broadcast everything, their insecurities, their ambitions, their reactions. They hand others the remote control to their inner world and then wonder why they feel drained. The man who learns to reveal less becomes the most interesting person in the room. Not because he's mysterious for the sake of it, but because he's full. There's a concept in psychology called reactive identity, when your sense of self depends on how others respond to you in real time. It's why you feel confident after a good conversation, then completely hollow an hour later. Your identity has no internal anchor. It's floating, constantly recalibrating based on external feedback. Here's the brutal truth. A man without an internal anchor gets controlled, not through force, but through attention. Give him validation, he opens up. Withdraw it, he chases. And people feel this. Unconsciously, they lose respect, not because they're cruel, because the human brain is wired to trust stability. We follow the person who doesn't wobble. The shift starts when you stop asking, "How do they see me?" and start asking, "Who am I when no one's watching?" That second question, most men never ask before 25. Some never ask it at all. Think about the last time someone rejected you. A girl, a job, a friend group. What was your first instinct? Analyze what you did wrong. Replay the interaction. Try to understand their reasoning. That's the trap. The moment you treat rejection as data about yourself, you hand that person authority over your self-image. You make them the expert on your worth. Now think about a man you've seen who gets rejected and just moves. No dramatics, no over-explanation, no visible wound. You respected that. You might have even found it unsettling because you couldn't read him. That unreadability is not coldness, it's identity security. He knows something you don't yet. Other people's perceptions are their reality, not yours. Learn this before 25. Rejection is not a verdict, it's just a direction. Here's the uncomfortable thing about discipline that no one frames correctly. Discipline isn't about waking up at 5 a.m. It's not about cold showers or a perfect morning routine. Discipline is the ability to disappoint people in the short term to protect something bigger in the long term. That means saying no to the hangout when you need to study. It means not laughing at the joke that crosses your line, even when everyone else does. It means walking away from a conversation that's draining you, even if they'll think you're weird for it. Most men break their own standards to avoid social friction, and every time they do, they lose a small piece of self-respect. Not in a dramatic way, in the quiet way. The way you feel it at 2 a.m. when you're scrolling instead of sleeping, wondering why your own life feels slightly off. That feeling isn't laziness, it's the gap between who you are and who you said you'd be. Close the gap. Not for anyone else, because you feel the distance. Here are 3 things to build before 25, not skills, but psychological positions. 1. Learn to sit with discomfort without immediately escaping it. When you feel anxious in a conversation, don't fill the silence. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause. Discomfort is a signal that you're near an edge worth crossing. Men who run from it stay small. Men who sit with it grow. 2. Stop explaining yourself to people who didn't ask. Over-explanation is a social anxiety tale. It says, I need you to approve of this decision. Make the decision. State it once. Let it stand. The right people won't need the essay. The wrong people won't be convinced by it. 3. Build something no one can take credit for. A skill, a body, a business, something you built in private through repeated effort when no one was watching. This is the foundation of unshakable confidence, not because others see it, but because you know what it took. Confidence built on social feedback collapses when the feedback stops. Confidence built on private achievement is permanent. The version of you at 25 is going to walk into rooms differently than you do right now. The question is whether he walks in reacting, trying to read the room, adjust his energy, be what the moment needs, or whether he walks in settled, present, unbothered by the performance. Here's the truth no one tells you while you're young. The world doesn't reward the most talented man. It rewards the man who is hardest to destabilize. Emotion is not weakness. Reaction is. Learn the difference before the world teaches it to you the hard way.